We are live, and let me refresh to make sure you can see us and hear us. Nothing yet. YouTube's a little slow.
We're good
Here we
here.
go. We're good. You can see us. All right. The last show of the
Last of the year.
year. And taking a nice, good break. We're going to see us here in the chat before we meet our guest and get into, just like we normally do, we'll see some of the topics, some of the news, some of the updates going on out there. Kevin, what's up? Mile High, Brother Glenn, and Pastor B. The man with information in hand. Texas Pete, what up? Omar, Menace, Jimmy, Sneaker Pickers, Pacers, Brian, what's good? Sourcing was Dookie. I did find something off book. AK Rowdy, Lucky and Three Legs, Big Money Mo, Astro Drip, Manny Fresh, Austin, Mr. Eric. Let me see. I survived the drought. Good times ahead. Astro Drip. Paolo Ortiz, what's up? D-Bay, Keepo, AN. Eric D. Let me see. So excited for this episode. Mile High has been a huge inspiration to me. Eric's going to have plenty of questions ready to go. Hard Day's Night, what up? Vintage Prophet, Josh Leva, Cecil, Activate Hustle Mode, Me Young. Ross Shallington on his lunch break. Sneaker Pickers, Dapper Fanatic, Danny Sen. And let me see, N Palma, Rock the Kicks, Patrick, Too Fresh, Pacers, man, Gritty Girl Boss, everybody coming in here, Trackstar, Miles, what up? All right, let's Crew Kicks Go Lakers. I like that. Yeah. All right, let's meet our guests.
All the hate, man. I can feel it already, man. I can feel it.
All love. Let's meet our guest, Mile High Hustle.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Oh, give me the Stone Cold intro.
Yeah.
All right. Come on. Let's see what Mile High, who are you and what are you? How did you start? A little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Who am I? So my name is Michael, aka Mile High Hustle. I am not in Denver, contrary to popular opinion about what Mile High means. I'm actually in Colorado Springs, which, for the record, is a higher elevation than Denver. Just saying. Not that it's a company.
Wow, it is. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
It is. You know, Denver gets all the love, but I'm just telling you, we're higher.
Okay.
And just a little bit about me. I'm just turned 50 this year. I know you guys are surprised, shocked. Just hit it actually like 2 weeks ago. So
nice.
Fresh off a
birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Fresh off a milestone birthday.
Just a few years older than Glenn then.
Yeah, just a few.
And I think I have been married probably longer than the bee has been alive. I've been married 26 years.
No. I was four back
then. I certainly have. I won't go there. Okay, so anyways, 26 years been married to my wife. I have two boys. They are 19 and 17. And I've been reselling for 3 long years, actually 3 short years. It has absolutely flown by. So
yeah, don't say long. Then Glenn's been reselling for Ice Age.
I mean, no, that's true though. Glenn has been selling since the Ice Age. But no, I it feels long in some ways just because so much has transpired in the last year. For all of us, and it just feels like a lifetime. But then when I look back, I'm like, man, I just started this journey. So
very nice little intro. So let's start off with, here we go. How are your sales? So everybody in the chat, I mean, Amazon and Mercari and the ones that are not here, eBay, StockX, Goat, how are your sales? I know Saturday, Sunday, even Monday, really good. Today, a little slower for some weird reason. But overall, it's been better. Definitely getting better the last couple of days. Getting closer, of course, to Christmas time. Everybody buying whatever. And those last minute gifts, it's going to creep up. They're going to ask too.
Yeah.
Well, let's get this on. Will I get this on time? I don't know. It's the 23rd. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So B, anything? What do you think's been working for you lately? eBay still?
eBay's been good. Goats right there. I think just because I haven't added more inventory since November on goat, I need to get back to that. But eBay's been strong. Just trying to ship out. We've been shipping morning and afternoon now, just to satisfy the customers.
Mm. Kipo, eBay on fire. eBay good. Paola says, yeah, eBay good. Amazing, up 98% compared to last year. Mr. Eric.
Yeah, it's pretty much double business in 1 year. That's a good growth right there.
Sales steady. eBay and Goat both. Josh Leva. Let me see. Miyang 157% up. Q4 surpassed Stimmy. Check sales. Fire Patrick.
Oh wow, yeah. So I was just looking at the analytics compared to last year for this Q4. I'm 2% down compared to last year's.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
Way to tear it up.
There you
I
go.
know. I was like, no, because I was like, hope it's green. I was like, oh, finally hit red. So we're gonna push some sales now.
All right. Mike, how's the sales?
Yeah, man. It's I tell you what, December's been rough. It's been rough. I think some of that's just attributed to not doing a good job of managing my store and replenishing some of my stock. And I've had stuff going on, so I have excuses. But November actually ended up in spite of myself. But today was popping, man. eBay went crazy today. I mean, it was just hitting. Now, part of that is that I've never had a death pile, and in the midst of all that's happened the last couple of months, I had 70 or so items to list over the last week. So I got caught up yesterday, and a number of those items sold today. So just goes back to you can't sell it if you don't list it.
Very true. All right, let's get into the just a little opener. Congrats, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Right, surpassing the greats.
Yes.
Yep. Reggie Miller and Ray Allen.
I wonder if there was like info about how early he broke the record compared to X amount of games that they've had to set it. I'm sure it's early, right? I mean, Mike, what do you think?
It's gotta be. I mean,
it's early, right? Because Ray Allen was like a lot older when he set the record.
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of cracked up watching it because Reggie Miller never likes to give props to anyone, including Michael Jordan. So to listen to him last night, I thought, okay, is this real? But dude, I mean, this record, I mean, he's gonna so far eclipse it. Nobody will ever touch this.
I know, right? Like that's so wild because like even what Reggie and Ray Allen, they were like so close, and this one so early in his career, if he just stays healthy. And
Richard says 300 games ahead.
Oh wow!
That's
What's
crazy.
that, like 3.5 seasons ahead?
Oh man, that is wild.
Can I just say though, I still hate the fact that he chews on his mouth guard. Just drives me nuts.
It's like his mannerism now, right? Like he does it, puts it on the side, and then whenever
your mom should have taught you better, man. That's just poor manners.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We know what you're doing. You're just showing off.
All right.
As always.
Exactly. Yes,
but he wasn't Too Legit knows exactly what we're thinking about. But he wasn't the only Curry to win last night. Now, Dell had a 3 of his own. Well, I don't know what else to say. Shooters shoot.
Shooters shoot.
Shooters shoot. I don't know what else to say.
That guy, I mean, he's old enough to be their granddad. I don't know what's going on in that picture.
He's got the fit and everything too, though. I mean,
hey, fire fit for real, though. Yeah.
He's like, hey, my son's about to get this record. Camera's gonna be on me too. Yeah. Let me show up a little bit.
Right? See, guys, this is why you have kids, so that they can be more successful than you. And then, they pay all your bills in retirement. That's how that works.
Oh, interesting.
That's a good strategy right there.
Let me see. Looking drippy. That shirt's from Marshall, says Big Money.
Hey. Oh, that was
He,
the $399 Marshall fine, right?
Yeah,
he probably bought it from Big Money Mo. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. Let me see. The real three, Dell the GOAT. Dell Curry for 3, Rashard. I remember Dell Curry. I mean, yes, Hornets days, but Raptor days. They had a good Raptors team too. They didn't get a lot of respect, but I like that team. Let me see.
Sorry, Glenn, you go way back. We can't relate.
Dell's a single man now, picking up on the ladies of the Suns basketball game. Just like my dad at family reunions. Oh man! All right, let's get into other updates. Anybody
Here's what
hit?
why is Kevin's dad hitting on women at family reunions?
Yeah, exactly. That was that was hilarious. All right, Cool Gray. Apparently, little mini restocks here and there at Foot Locker. Where else?
Well, it wasn't restock. It was leftover pairs.
Leftover pairs
Right.
raffled off.
It was
we should
very
say.
spotty to begin with, right? Like they put the full size run raffle there, but there was only 9, 11, and 12. And then you tried for a 13, you took an automatic L.
Yeah, exactly. So me and the wife, we're picking up more pairs tomorrow. I
Yeah,
like it.
Glenn hit on next pair. Oh man, we only hit 2 more grade school.
Okay, and we didn't get any extra grade school, so only men's. But see what the chat says. Didn't win, Mr. Eric. I hit on a 13. Nice. Activate hustle mode. Foot Locker had 9, 10.5, and 13 left. Let me see. Took all L's today, but Saturday got 8 W's. Dapper Fanatic.
Nice.
Let's see. You got 6 tomorrow. 15 pairs total. AN. Let me see. Amazing demand on the 11. Sold a size 13 for $650 shipped.
What?
Zapatos.
Man.
Zapatos, man. Let me see. AK Rowdy 4GS pairs. Skyline took a big L. 10 wins so far. Resell Freak. Manny Fresh 9 pairs.
You know what's surprising though is we actually got more pairs shipped on the ship to home option than compared to what we won in store. So it felt really lonely to just go out on a Saturday afternoon and pick up 4 pairs. And then this morning all pairs came in. No. This is the first time that I think it's actually in full motion. Because I think the other ones that shipped to home was like I thought they were fakes because like I didn't see a lot of people win. I think this time it actually won because my wife's account never didn't win, but she won all the ship to home. So that was like so now I guess you could be hopeful if you don't, take the W on the front end because ship to home is so much easier.
Yeah.
I feel like Nike put a lot of extra effort in it. They must have had a ton of inventory on this one. I feel like a lot of people got dubs on this particular shoe. You don't think so, Ken?
I don't. From what I heard, man, it's a lot harder to get. Maybe it's either a lot harder to get or there were just a lot more people that's hoarding this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been so long since this came out, right? And then I feel like, I was just talking to like the older Foot Locker employees that have been working, for 10 years. And then I've never seen them more excited on any drops than anything else. So like they were the ones that literally bought like a full family run just for their family. So I think that alone is kind of like took away a lot from the market. And then now we have a lot of people that are, capitalizing on that nostalgic feeling. But it is the most produced 11 so far. So, I don't know if we just all are hoarding 15 pairs each, like we're starving the market. And then next thing you know, if somebody starts dumping it and it just starts tanking. But so far I was telling Glenn earlier in the week, I was like, man, I'm surprised because my strategy initially, Mike, was to just get as much as I can and just dump it. I didn't want to deal with it because of the production number. So I was like, okay. And then the day happened and it's like it was holding a 350. I was like, wait, so we could potentially make easy $100 or could be 150 if I just waited out on eBay. So I just held. I didn't sell any of them yet.
All right, let's get into updates. And what do you think about this colorway for early
I'm gonna
2022?
tell you right now. I think Glenn's gonna say it's clean.
I've
Huh?
never tried this comfort ones or anything. I don't know
What
how
about
they
you,
feel
Mike? Have you
or how they
tried them on, or have you?
I like the colorway. I've not tried the comfort ones either.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is one that you get for the personal, but there's no
Right.
resale value in this. No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My buddy that I bought some comforts for him, he says he likes wearing them. They said it's actually comfortable. So, might have to
Well,
try it out.
Jordan ones aren't usually very comfortable
No, they're not.
anyways.
I hate them. Yeah, I changed the insole right off the gate. I actually have my New Balance insoles in them. so this one should have, because it has a Zoom Air bottom. So hey, we might have to try it out, Glenn.
What about Cardinal? Now,
Hey.
when B first saw him, he was not impressed.
Yes,
Has that
sir.
changed or not?
Yes, sir.
No, it's the yellow. It's the yellow. I was like,
Okay.
because I thought it was gonna be like a fire red, right? Like kind of like a more two color, right? And then they bring up the kind of like the pine green esque on it, like all the green
yellow
was
hint.
until they put the yellow hint. I was like,
That's
oh
the
no.
beak. That's the beak. You know.
And then like right, the pine green now looks like what Seattle Supersonics. Like I feel like when they add another hint of color, it makes it more team specific, which works for you. It's perfect for people that actually are rocking one team hardcore and stuff like that. I mean, it could be Buccaneers too. You know what I'm saying?
Could be Buccaneers. Could be the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Could be Stanford. I mean, there's a number of teams that people will want this.
That is true. That's very true.
It's a great silhouette too.
The Cardinal 7. Yeah, the threes, you just can't lose on threes, man. I mean, they're just cool shoe.
Miles had the same idea that I think B had in the very beginning, McDonald's exclusive. So
yeah,
that's why B was hating on it from the very beginning. It's like too McDonald's like, too
Ronald.
I
was thinking I was just gonna dye the Jordan black or red, and then until I saw the eyelets, they're actually yellow, so you can't change it.
Yeah. USC vintage
product.
Very true.
Correct. Yeah.
But next year's release also, we have to zoom in on this price increase for next year. And so let me zoom in. We can go through them a little bit.
Nike knows all about inflation, huh?
Yes, sir.
They're creating inflation single-handedly.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
So Jordan 1s, they said, are going to remain at 170. That is not going to change.
Yeah, because they already erased it last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got the University Gold. That one we've seen before. Of course, the blue ones. I think a lot of people are excited for the blue pair. And then into February, there was the Cardinal Red. They're going to be at 200. Women's 200. And it's the University Blue. I don't know what the price that one is. Jordan 7s going up. This is an SE Sapphire to 210 for this pair. 210.
Dude, that's gonna be like the PSG 7s. They're just gonna sit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also 210 for this. What was it called? Like
Mike, how do you say that? How do you say that word?
What do you got? Which one?
Jordan 4. Jordan 4.
Oh, the amethyst.
Amethyst. Okay.
Amethyst wave.
Amethyst wave.
This is supposed to be for the Phil Jackson Zen Master, right? That they initially said. That is also going to be 210.
Man, they're doing Phil wrong for that. Just
Um,
call it like Jordan 4 Zen or something like that.
Make it easy.
Yeah, Amethyst wave.
But amethyst is like a crystal, right? And wasn't Phil Jackson into like all this like Hindu
hippie things?
Yeah. So that makes sense.
Those 4s are fire. It's gonna sell. Let me see. 210s for 7s, or $210 for 7s. They will sit, says Miles. Infrared nice. Jordan 4. That one, $200 for Jordan 9s. What else is coming out?
So the Jordan 6 UNC, will we ever see the Jordan 6 get hyped back up again because of the UNC colorway?
I think maybe just that color. I don't think anything
Right.
else. But overall, are you happy with the ones that these shoes that are coming out next year? Is there anything that's like overly exciting to you that you're like, man, personal or to?
See, I don't know. I have a feeling that Jordan brand went kind of lighter on the colors this 2022.
Mm.
Right? 'Cause you got the infrared, it's light. You got the fours, you got the fives, and the both sixes are light color. I don't know if that's kind of like like a contrasting of what has dropped this year, right? Because a lot of what dropped this year were very bold colors. You got the Jordan, all the threes, dark threes, the black fives, Bordeaux colorway, breads. I don't know if that's kind of like trying to offset that colorway, but for me, I feel like it's very light. I'm not, from looking at it, I'm not trying to keep any of what's slated for 2022 unless they have something different.
Well, kind of like Big Money Mo said, I can't keep up anymore. So I think that starts to be a problem too. When there's just too many, then people start losing interest because like, man, what else is going on here? So into the last news, Big Money Mo NFTs.
Yes,
Here we
sir.
are.
I told y'all. Y'all think I'm stupid. It's coming.
Metaverse is growing.
All
So
right.
they acquire one of Metaverse's hottest companies with avatar projects that command millions.
Man. All right. So our next live show will be in Metaverse.
There should be. So what do we think about this? I mean, Big Money said he's not convinced.
I don't have a clue about it. So Mike.
Well, we don't know. We don't have a clue. Well,
Listen, I don't know anything about it either. Here's what I know is that you've got, sneakers are intellectual property, right?
Right.
And Nike has never been known for wanting to just give away profit. And so you create a pair of shoes and they know that shoe is going to sell how many times over in its lifetime, know, and they're only getting a piece of the first sale.
Right.
So what NFTs are going to allow them to do down the road is track that sale through. Yeah. It's going to become a part of authentication. So, whatever that authentication token is in that shoe's got to stay in it for that shoe to be authentic. And then, then they're always going to get a piece of the business. So that's why I feel like reselling's position in the marketplace is more than secure because Nike's going to get in on it and make sure that it sticks around.
All right.
We're all just going to become salespeople for Nike. That's how that's going to work.
It's not different than what we're doing now.
Facts.
Into the weekend releases tomorrow. Dunk Lows, which also was on the Foot Locker app, and think we didn't get them here, but B, did you hit on a couple of pairs? Or
I won my size, so
nice.
This might be that black and yellow that I'm gonna keep because I wasn't too impressed with Fallen just because it was dark. So I'm hoping this one in person will be a lot more yellow than the Pollen.
Wu-Tang vibes, of course. Patrick.
Yeah. That's a clean shoe.
$100. Very clean shoe. I don't even have my sound bites ready. Where's my sound bites? Oh, there you go.
I think it's a clean shoe.
I need a pair. Brian, what up, Big Cheese? Next, Gore-Tex. $200. Didn't the other Gore-Tex already come out?
Yeah. And it sold out too. I thought it wasn't gonna sell out.
Yeah. So $200. That one tomorrow. Sneakers app and select retailers. Let me see. Any thoughts on this one? You're like, just another shoe.
The bottom looks wacky. It's kind of like a transparent bottom too.
It's like two-tone, right? It's like two-tone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stevie D Trash. Austin, these are fire. Gore-Tex for the personal miles. All right, next. LaMelo, his first shoe. Puma, 125.
They're actually not bad.
I ain't doing that on my.
They look
People
like
said they're good to ball in. They said it was good to ball.
they look like Klay Thompson's Anthas.
Oh yeah, I kind of do.
Got that vibe to it.
Yeah. Let me see what the chat says. Nope. Ew. More ews. Let me see. Let's see. I hate the fact that he wears them every game. Vintage Profit.
Oh, he's just promoting it bad, huh? The color.
Yeah. Patrick, come to a Ross near you or Burlington. Let me see. Best non what Nike signature model already. There we go. Burlington special. Next, LeBron 19s. I
Clown
thought some of these
shoes.
were already out, but I guess
Hmm.
not. $200.
Dude,
Space Jam.
This might look better on Metaverse.
Just save for Metaverse only.
Yeah.
No need to release these. They also got this frosty blue one, if anybody cares. You would think that they would try to make it not look like the LeBron 13.
Yeah, exactly. I feel
And
like
they kind of went back to that same look a little bit. I don't know.
dude, it looks like if this was all like a triple black colorway, it's very like futuristic with like robots or like superhero-esque kind of like, just the silhouette.
Triple black would be sweet. Yeah, I'd like triple
Yeah,
black.
this one, I wonder. I mean, if he has cool snow boots.
Miles said, I don't know if any colorway is going to save this shoe. Yeah, this is going to be tough.
I
Yeah,
feel
they're
like I feel like the product pipeline for Space Jam. Like, how many more products are they going to release? Whoever's in charge of that brand is kicking themselves because they
I
got so
know.
much. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so much way later than movies already. Everyone's past it already.
The build up was wrong and the movie flopped. I didn't even watch it.
All right, what about the Jordan 1?
I want this one for Joe. I want this one.
All right,
Oh,
one's
like-
it for the collection.
I
B?
was gonna say this is something like a Dad Mile High would rock.
Yes, sir. 100%.
You know, no, for real, right? Like
It's
it's
called me
not,
Zaddy. You know,
yeah,
that's me.
it's not flashy. It's got the dark green in it and stuff like that. I think it is a clean shoe. It's got
I'm
that.
gonna wear it with my black socks and my Bermuda shorts just for you.
Hey, I was thinking I want one, and I was gonna rock it with my green corduroys.
Oh, see, there we go.
You see what I'm saying? Like the fall.
Dad
vibe.
colorway for sure. Miles, I love the
Yeah.
colors.
Dude,
What about materials though?
I mean, if from a photo, it looks like quality. If it's
Yeah, it does look
if it's
quality.
kind of like a mocha-esque quality, this might be hard. This might be a good personal.
170 on Saturday, and the last one, they're back. Reflective.
A little too late, but they
240
made it. Yeah,
on
$240.
Saturday.
Imagine paying $250. This is when that $50 flex gift card come in clutch.
Let me see. Returns from 2016 with a slight tweak.
With a reflective thread.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
it.
So I wonder what they'll resell for though.
Dude, a lot of people are trashing it actually, because like StockX right now is like what, 280. It's like there's
Interesting.
no money to be made.
So hey guys, does Kanye take on Abloh's mantle? Does he carry the legacy?
Oh no! I hope no.
No?
I hope
That's what
no.
I've heard. I've just been hearing so far, but I don't know.
Bro,
Well,
man, like Kanye's creativity is not there. Kanye's kind of like his creativity is kind of like a
I think you're
movie.
married to light up the chat right now. I think.
Why? Because a lot of Kanye people here.
Yeah, listen, man. Yeah, people hate on Kanye, but we all hate to love him. We all love to hate to love him, right?
No, I don't hate on him. It's just his style is very kind of like earthy, like spaceship looking one. He's got that. What was that vehicle that he has, Mile High? That's like all terrain. What's that?
Oh yeah, what are those called? I forget. I know what you're talking about. That looks like
Yeah,
a movie.
right. Like that thing that goes over everything. See, like that's kind of like his kind of like era. And Off-White is more of like deconstructed, colorful. So that's
For
why
now.
that's why I say
for now.
hey, true. Who knows? Like he's like Kanye could wake up it's like, hey, there's no color anymore, and then all of a sudden, he just comes up with the colorful ideas that Virgil had.
All right, power rankings last week. This is gonna go pretty quick this week. Not much else going on, at least to add. Let me see. Marshalls. Looks like we had some Ralph Lauren out there. Laces always out. That jacket, and then I'm telling you, we don't have a whole lot of slides. Going into Ross, let me see, Chai Sneaker Deals, Rangers. Also pick up the T-Rex on $50 Adidas. Some of the Under Armour cleats, looks like they've gone up big time now at $41. Hustle Crow and the Wind Horse, also with a different pair there. Blue and gold. And then some of the Trout also out there. MC Incorporated. And ID Space Vision, Big Chief resale, Polo Bomber Jacket $100, retail at $600, and a Sneaker Flip Find. Let me see with the Docs, and they were at $60. All right, next, more Off-White or the Virgil books, Chai Sneaker Deals. And RV, Leva, JT resales, $25. And we're going to be giving away 2 of them today from the video. So we'll have that after this. And then at Nike Factory Store, look at that Kobe shirt. A-Train Hustle. I don't know where that one came from. And also Jordan 2 lows. Interesting. And the Golf 4s.
Nobody wants them anyway.
Jordan
2 looks.
Yeah, Sakai and A-Train Hustle again. 4s, KDs, and Jordan 11 lows. Let me see. And then Big Money Mo, of course. 1s, 1 lows, 97s, and Chai Sneaker Deals. Also with Sakai. So not really a lot going on. I think a lot of people also, number one, yes, stores are slow, dry.
Everybody.
Also, people don't really want to go out there, depending on how wild your area is and lines and all that mess.
Christmas shopping too is going on.
Exactly. So power rankings, I don't even give Burlington anything.
They're gonna Sakai are comfortable though. Have you guys tried those Sakais on?
No. Have you? How do you feel like?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, he does have the colorway too.
He's got the Suns colorway.
Sir. Yes, sir. I got to be on brand. No, they're super comfortable. I wore them for the first time this week. I like them.
Nice.
Ultimate dad shoe right there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go for the book. So let me see if I can get this out of the way. We're gonna do a random. Okay, now I had it on here. Random. We're gonna do a random. Whoops. Okay, now I had it on here. Random. Okay. Get this removed.
How do you get? Oh, these are the people that tagged you?
No, these. So you have to watch the video as the first 50 people to leave a comment.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I did it that way is because a lot of people don't actually finish watching the full video. So I was like, hey, the ones paying attention, enter in, and we're good. So, all right, get this here, and I got to make sure I can still see the chat to make sure. I don't. Should we do? You have to be here in person watching the live.
I mean, how are they gonna claim it? There's no way that you can.
That's true.
Well, you could at least probably message them back on Facebook if you want to do that.
Well, this is from YouTube, so I actually don't have a way to contact them. So that's a very good point. So they probably have to be here
to
claim. So, all right, whoever's here, and if you're not here, then I guess we'll just have to run it again. All right,
there's if you don't get a winner, just send them to me. It'll be good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually,
all right.
Back here.
So we're just gonna make this easy. I'm gonna press generate, and if your number is called, then you win. That's it. And if you're not here, then we'll do it again for the next person. So,
Let's see who's here.
Generate the first one. Number 34, Andrea. Andrea, if you're here or not here. Because some of these we know. We've seen these names. Tans, Fines, Miles, of course. Hustle Crow.
Next.
Andrea, will give you some time if you're here. Next. Number 49, Deadstock Deals.
Oh.
Deadstock Deals. If you are here. So those are our 2 winners. Now, if they don't claim anything, we're gonna give like another minute, but I don't see them here in the chat. Nothing yet. We should probably, I mean, Enrique, we know, Extra Grands, we know. There's some names in here I do know, but Southtown Fines, Connor, Coach Steve, Luck and Three Legs. Let me see. Anything yet? No. Next. Oh, there we go. Deadstock Deals is here. Okay, so Deadstock Deals, you have won. And now Andrea is the only one we're waiting for. Did not hear anything, so we'll go again. Generate. Number 27, Lloyd Gonzalez. Lloyd Gonzalez, if you're here. Deadstock Deals, you have won. You're good. And we're just waiting for Lloyd. Anything here? All right, if Lloyd is not here, then we'll do Generate. 27, nope. Again, 33, Tim C. Oh, Lloyd Gonzalez is here. Says, what up? There we go. All right, we have our winners. So Lloyd Gonzalez and Deadstock Deals both have won. Email me at hustlerhacks1@gmail.com so we can get that organized. I can send that to you. Got the books here. We'll be good to go. Get this out of the way. Move this. So yeah, we're set. So here's the books. Ready to send that out. All right. Now, interview portion. Any questions you have for Mile High Hustle, you can throw them in to the chat.
Bring the heat, boys.
If you want to bring the heat, if you want to stump this man with some of the questions.
No, I'll just reflect.
All right. So Mile High. Let's start off a little bit. Part-time, full-time. We know, but for everybody else watching.
Yeah, part-time. Don't want to be full-time. But sometimes it feels like full-time, for sure. Okay. I mean, it's a hustle, it's a grind, and what I've learned is that you get out of it whatever you put into it. So it's addicting. We all know how it is, right? So you get that taste of victory, and you want more of it. So for me, it's an issue of just managing my energy levels and trying not to overdo it. Yeah.
So why did you start though? Being part-time.
I mean, it's funny. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, Glenn, if I could see myself 5 years from now selling sneakers, there's no way that ever would have entered into my thought process. Like that just wasn't on my radar. But as I mentioned, just hit kind of a milestone birthday. So some of you young bucks will find out when you hit your 40s, you start to, especially if you have kids who are getting a little bit older, and they become more independent, you end up with a little more time on your hands. You're not going to soccer games, football games, taking them to their friend's house. So you're like, hey, what am I going to do with my time? And I actually, back in 2018, had read a book called Your Best Year Ever by a guy named Michael Hyatt. And in the book, he talks about goal setting, and one of the and he has like 7 different life domains that you should, like, a lot of times we just think about writing goals for our work life or our business. He actually has you write goals for like your relationships. And one of the areas he wants you to write goals around is what he calls your avocation, not your job, but more of a hobby or something you do outside of work. And so I thought, what is that for me? Because I didn't know at the time. And I thought, I'm gonna get into golf because that seems like a thing old white guys do. And so that's true though. That's just the way it is. And it's not just old white guys. I mean, it's old guys of any. We just like to go golfing. I don't know what the deal is, but anyways, and golfing is something that my brother has done, my dad did, and I thought, okay, that's just kind of what you do. And golf is part fun, but mostly frustration. And I just don't like to have to pay money to be frustrated. There's a lot of things I can do to be frustrated that don't cost anything.
Good point.
So,
That's what
yeah,
I've
so
heard from people trying to invite me, and they said, you're just gonna try to laugh, or they're trying to laugh at each other's bad shot. I'm like, that's a terrible time.
yeah, and you know what too though? I'm like, I think I'm too insecure because especially if I go golfing with people who are better than me, it just makes me feel bad about myself and makes me look bad in front of them. So so anyways, I said, okay, this isn't for me. What am I gonna do? And I thought, I've always been in one form or fashion interested in business. Got a marketing degree, retail marketing. And I thought, and I had been in retail for years. I loved selling things. I loved learning about products. I loved connecting people to things they were looking for. And I thought, man, if I could figure out a way to make some money and do something on the side, that'd be fun. So I got on YouTube and I found this guy. You might have heard of him. His name is Hustler Hacks.
Nice.
And yeah, the one and only.
So what did you type when you were looking at stuff?
I can't. I was trying to think about that. I can't remember, but what I remember is that the first one I watched was a Ross Finds video, and it blew my mind because I was like, up until that point, as a general consumer going into Ross, I just thought it was just some marketing technique to put a fake suggested price on a tag, and then like put our price and try, and I'm like, I'm not buying that stuff. Like that's ridiculous. That's not the real price. And I wasn't a very brand conscious. I know you guys are shocked, like, cause I'm obviously into brands, but like at the time, maybe because I was busy raising kids and everything, I just wasn't thinking about these brands sitting on the shelf. And then when I saw Glenn going in there and buying these shoes, and I'm like, you're kidding me. You can go on eBay and sell this stuff for a profit. I'd never thought about it. And so so my wife and my two boys and I, one night, they had to go like school clothes shopping or something. Let's go to Ross. And so, they're looking for themselves and I'm like looking for shoes. And the first pair I bought, about 2 pairs, I looked them up last night and it was like facepalm moment. I wish I would have kept these things. It was the Nike Huarache 2K4 Kobe All-Stars.
Oh man.
For $39.99 a pair.
Wow.
I bought 2 pairs and it was like such a nail biting experience for me because that was $80. And I was like, man, $80, out of my personal money at the time. And yet I did it and I put them online. They took a few weeks because I had to set up my store and do all that stuff. But man, I tell you what, I don't know if this is what doing heroin is like chasing the dragon. Probably not. But that's what it was. So I was like, I'm hooked from that first sale. I'm like, I'm hooked. And then, the rest is kind of history.
Wow.
Nice. Clark Kent says Hustler was hitting that ass before COVID. Those are great times. Yes, indeed. Big Money Mo. Glenn taught me how to buy low-end cleats thinking they were elite.
Dude, that was wild. I didn't have a clue either when I started. I was like, Nike Tempos, and I didn't even know they were like low end or Tempo Legacy and stuff like that. But yeah.
So other questions came in. So what is your full-time job then, if you mind sharing? If you don't, it's all good too.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a public figure. I actually am in publishing. So my day job is I work for a 150-year-old publisher that publishes books and curriculum and music. And so I oversee the books area. And so we acquire and publish books, all faith-based books.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and that's not always been my profession. It's something I kind of, landed in through a series of events as I climbed the ladder.
So how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so I've been in publishing in one form or fashion for the last 15 years.
Oh, hey Glenn, when we write our book, we know
hey,
how to go
I got you. But the last 5 years, the last 2 years, I've been what you would call a publisher, which is overseeing the line of business that is acquiring and publishing books. Yeah.
And so why don't you want to be full time? one of the questions.
Because I publish books and it's awesome. I mean, they make movies about it, right? You ever watch The Devil Wears Prada? Like, I mean, it's one of those sort of like ultimate jobs. For a long time, I didn't want to tell people because it feels a bit like a brag. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I mean, at some level, it's what I do. I mean, it's what I do to pay the bills, and I love it.
Right. Now that I think about it, like, it's off topic of reselling, but doesn't it feel like very fulfilling because you're on a more of like a project based job that you actually see it through, and you see it, like tell me about like that's probably one of the main reasons why you don't want to leave that place or that job, because like that has to be so cool, that seeing the process of being it built and then now being sold out. And you probably see like ghost bonkers, right? Like there are books that you're part of that just goes, and then I mean obviously you share the victory for that, right?
Most of them don't.
Okay.
Publishing is a batting average game. And so if you think about it, just like Moneyball, right? Like your deals it's not dissimilar from reselling. Like you're trying to aggregate enough sales at a certain margin, and you have winners and you have losers. In publishing, more often than not, you've got losers, but the winners that do win big enough to pay for all the other losers, right? So the first few books that come out that have your name in them, you're like super stoked, and you're like, yeah, this is so cool. But then you have to turn around and answer for, why did that one fall, 60% short of projections? But here's the cool thing, guys. Here's how you tie it back into what we're doing. I have been amazed at how much shoes and sneakers open up doors of conversation for people in my day-to-day work. For a long time, I tried to keep these worlds separate because I thought, how do these two things mesh? What I have found is that I'll go to industry conferences, sitting around tables, and somebody will say, "Hey, show me a picture of your kids." And after I go scroll through about 20 screens of shoes, they're like, "Why do you have all these pictures of shoes?" And so then I have to explain the situation, and before long, there's like a crowd of people around the table, and they're fascinated. They're absolutely fascinated by this. Yeah, it's inspiring.
That's
all right.
awesome.
Trap Al Bundy, $5. Player Glenn showed me to buy was an Under Armour ASAP Rock. He's been reselling for almost years now. Appreciate that $5 on the super chat. Speaking of Under Armour, Mile High Hustle, are Under Armour sheets selling for you?
I gotta tell you, that's sad, man. Listen, I know I'm going to become the Under Armour athlete recovery salesperson before long.
Hey, did anybody actually use them? Glenn, did you use yours?
I never got them. I wanted to use them.
Oh, okay.
I never found them. I think Brian bought them all.
Stevie D sleeps with them, I'm pretty sure.
All right, Stevie D. Anybody else actually try them?
Some. Yeah, like I was actually interested. We might have to, ask the people who's willing to sell it now.
So Mile High, how many did you pick up? How many have sold or not sold? What's the story behind these sheets?
So remember how I just said that you have winners and you have losers? Yeah, man, it's a sad situation. At this point, I'm holding on to them for pride. It's all about pride.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've got like four packs. And I think I paid like $30 a piece for them or something. So, I do hear they're comfortable. I mean, I've heard they're very comfy, nice and soft. Yeah.
So there goes. Stevie D says they are fire. Got a king set for sure.
There you go.
They are cool to the touch. There we go. District deals.
Look at District deals coming in with the mad money.
Yeah.
Man, big baller, $50.
Speaking of the super chat, man, can I throw out my appeal? Can I do that right now?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys know Soupies. I know Glenn has talked about Soupies before. He's a reseller, and just being a part of the community. This guy has been struggling with a chronic illness. It's been going on for months and months on end, and it's affecting his business. And we can all imagine, like, he's a full-timer, so this is his livelihood. And so I was just talking with him yesterday, and dude has spent like $75,000 on medical bills this year.
I did see his update on.
Yeah, it's craziness. So I asked Glenn beforehand if it'd be all right, just to let you guys know, like if you guys, it's December, you're having a killer month, if you could peel off a little bit of that to help a brother out with his family, he's got a GoFundMe page. I've got the link, Glenn. I don't know if it's good to post it in the chat.
Yeah, you can put it straight on the,
cool?
or you could put it on the
Can I do
chat.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do that. So if y'all want to go out and support Soupy, support another reseller who's having a tough time, that might make a good make for your good deed for December. So thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, let me see if I could. I think I have it here too. If it doesn't work for some reason, let me see. I could post it on here. Because I know links sometimes YouTube throws it off to where like,
that,
yeah, they don't like a lot of links. I guess it kind of like spammed
gotcha.
in there. So I posted it. Let me see if it goes through. If it doesn't, let me know. But it should have. So you can click on that. It should take you right to it, I believe. So
Yeah, it's there.
okay. All right. So there it is there. And same thing for the super chat. We could definitely donate those as well. I mean, we did that. I think we did that earlier in the year.
Yeah,
man. And he's just been struggling. Like, I think, a lot of times, people have a death in the family or something happens and it's kind of a one-time deal. And I was just talking to the other, it's like ongoing and it's easy to forget, someone's dealing with something like that. So I just want to help a brother out.
Especially being full-time. The thing with full-time that I know some of us do think about it, because especially the ones that have kids and stuff. Yeah. But having, different benefits and stuff that when you're not working, let's say for a company, then you got to find your own, healthcare and things like that. And things can get difficult. And that's one of the things me and the wife have always talked about too, trying to figure that out. It's almost like the system sees you very different from being a business owner, and even trying to get a house and doing things like that. I was like, okay, what do you do? Why? YouTube stumped them for a while, but yeah, but it's getting a little bit better on that end. But District Deals, again, shout out $50, and also Trap Al Bundy $5 on the super chat. Now, Mile High, I know when you joined Level Up,
yes, sir.
One of the first things you said before even joining in, I am focusing on online more than retail.
Right.
How is that now that it's been drier? Are you happy that you never really stopped doing retail, but you definitely did even more OA after that. So are you happy with where you're at OA, and I guess how you want to implement more of that maybe going into the next year?
Yeah, no, that's actually, it's funny because I was talking with another reseller about this recently. I've got a week off coming up at the end of this month, in between Christmas and New Year's, and my plan is to sit down and write out my goals for next year. Which, to be quite honest, like that's not something I do every year. I've had years where I do it and years I don't. And the years I don't, I just find I end up at the end of the year going, man, where did the year go? And,
right.
So being intentional about that, I really want to do that. And I'll say the Level Up program actually was a great example of that, because you guys talk a lot about that. Are you guys still doing the Level Up program?
We haven't done that or out hustled in a while. So we've been behind on both.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, for me, and it was kind of like business 101, like you can't manage it if you don't measure it, right? So you guys talked a lot about that. But for me, as far as your question in OA, I just find that because this is a part-time hustle that feels like full-time, I just have to be smarter with my time. And I just find that the more I can build efficiencies into my workflow, the better business can be, the more I can spend time doing the things that matter. Here's the hard part though. I love RA. There's nothing more fun in my mind than going into a store, and flipping through the racks and that you see that thing that, like I remember when I walked around the corner and saw the pair of Off-Whites sitting on the shelf, like there's nothing like that feeling. It's just a very inefficient way of finding there's just no guarantees, right? Especially in this environment. And so, yeah, for me, OA has been since last November has been a big piece of that. And I know, we've talked a little bit about this too before, and that is, how do you source OA? And for me, that's been, I joined this Discord group, which, I wouldn't have known what Discord was even a year ago. I mean, I had used like Slack in a business environment, but I'd never even been on that. But it was a game changer for me because the group that I'm a part of, which is Heat Seekers Discord, it's actually a lot of guys our age and older our age. You guys are younger than me, but guys who are like they're passionate about the business side. They're not just like 18-year-old kids flipping sneakers on the side. Like these are guys that they have a lot of information to share. And just like learning from you, Glenn, or Hustle Bee, learning from you, like Ken's business acumen, what he really brings to the table from an analytical perspective. I just need people that can speak into my life and give me the information so I don't have to learn it the hard way. So community has been really important. So being in that group and having access to curated links that can help me find what I want quick, but not just the link. Give me the business intelligence that tells me why I should follow that link, and then make it simple for me. I know that probably just means I'm lazy, but honestly, like it's just more of that. I need to be more efficient with my time.
Yeah, it's time. It's really more time. It's really more time because like we've had this conversation. It's not like you cannot put the same time I am putting in, and that's why I think that's have worked greatly for you. Yeah.
I mean, like I look at this and I'm like, like Glenn is the king of Ross, and Hustle Bee is like the king of Nike outlets, right? And I'm not the king of anything, but like if there's one lane that I feel like really works well for me, it's OA, and then I'm just trying to find those hacks like the Heat Seekers Discord that help me leverage that to its maximum. At least that's been my path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, when you also were part of the Level Up, we talked about a lot of like the eBay side and everything, and you were, I think, maybe dipping into Amazon and slowly kind of growing that. So right now, what would you say you're doing more of, eBay or Amazon? Or what are percentage-wise?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good question. I think it's probably 70-30 eBay to Amazon right now for me. Yeah, no, I'm not, by any stretch. I'm still such a noob. It's funny that people want me to talk about Amazon. I know a lot of people in the chat were like, yeah, I get Mile High on to talk about Amazon. It's
we have like 100 questions ready, so.
Listen, I am excited about it, and here's why. So I think part of what gets, why people are interested is because everybody's afraid of it, right? Like initially there's fear, and there's a lot of urban legends built into Amazon. I didn't necessarily have that level of fear because in publishing, Amazon is our number one customer.
Yeah.
Right. So like I kind of understood the backbone. It was different in Seller Central. And I understand that there's a lot of quirky rules. The thing that probably concerned me more than anything was the returns aspect. But I started talking to a lot of people in the Discord group and who do it. And they're like, yeah, I mean, you might have 2-3% returns on eBay and maybe 10-12% returns on Amazon. But if you're double, tripling your margins, you build it in as a cost of the process, right? So, yeah, I've had a couple returns, but guys, I got to tell you, at least for me, knock on wood, like it hasn't been an issue thus far. But I'm not operating at the same volume as some people. So, I'm excited to move more into FBA. So for those who are getting into it or don't know about it, fulfillment by merchant or seller means that just like you do your eBay business or
that's what you do more of now.
I do more FBM right now, but FBA, let Amazon be your warehouse, let Amazon be your fulfillment, let them deal with the customer. And they still deal with the customer on the FBM side, but you don't have to do anything. You just kind of wash your hands of it as long as you've done the research.
Is that in the vein of thinking that because you're wanting to expand in a lot more products, that's why you want to shift more on FBA?
More volume, right? More volume. So if I can go deep, this is where this is where, like, okay, now I've figured out a way to maybe game the system a little bit and say I can increase my business without spending more time. Again, it comes back to
Right.
that time thing.
Yeah. So you could just
And-
add more quantity and volume wise and let it sit there.
100%. And in my experience, it doesn't sit very long.
Yeah. Yeah. With the right product for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Now you'd also said on IG that you were hoping to add, like a good 25,000 extra to your business going into 2021. Now eBay year to date, you were right at like 100,000, right?
Yeah.
For your business, and then Amazon year to date about 25,000. So you've hit your goals. You've done well there. Anything you would have maybe wanted to do more in to, I guess, exceed those goals even more? Like I would have gone deeper on certain pairs of shoes. Maybe I would have focused more on this platform more than the other. What would you say? Anything from that end?
I don't know if it's a growth strategy, but for me, the thing that I really want to work on is just managing my business more closely. And so I think that this room right here, you can't see it. There's a closet right here. I've got a lot of inventory that's aged. And so for me, if I can figure out a way to be better about, not holding on to stuff too long, getting my money back, reinvesting it where I need to, my retail background would tell me one of the most important metrics. There's two most important metrics. One is inventory turns, and one is what they call gross margin return on inventory investment. So it all comes back to volume. How much can you flip that dollar that's invested? That's why I got out of investing in retros for resale, because typically you have to hold a retro too long for my comfort, unless you're doing like Glenn, where you're able to buy 100 pairs, or like Hustlebee, where you're able to you have a source where you can get a bunch, because then, that investment might be $25,000, but in a year and a half, that's going to turn into $60,000, $70,000. That's a whole different ballgame. I'm not in that league, but for me, if I can take, $40 and I can turn that $40 into, 5 times in a year, I'd much rather do that. But what I was poor at, to get back to your question, Glenn, what I want to improve on is getting out of bad investments faster. So that means markdowns and clearance and making better decisions. And then, really focusing on optimizing my inventory. And I think at the end of the day, the more I can flip that dollar and get that gross margin return, the better off I'll be. I think that for me, next year, it's all about managing my business better.
Yes, that's a good point. The cutting your loss quick, or it's not even loss in our industry. Like our loss is actual break even, right? Or like bragging rights, or our egos being hurt that we thought this something was gonna make us 100, but it's not, right? Like perfect example, like the Raging Bulls, right? Like I was saying like it's gonna go high, and then now it hasn't, right? So now it's me. It's like I look at it. It's like, okay, I could let it sit there, or I could, if I truly need a capital, I should have ditched it. When I saw that there was no growth. So I think that brings a valid point. That is a reason why I have like a clearance strategy every 30 days. I go with the oldest listings and then see if this is something that I want to keep for the next 30 days, or if I want to get rid of. Right? Just kind of like how Nike does it. They have a backwall sale. If they don't have enough of it anymore, they want to clearance it out. So that's kind of like a very a great observation, which is, I think you're right. If you're not sitting on if you don't have a lot of capital to play with, you have to be very good at optimizing your current inventory, or else it's just a waste of capital. If you think about it, you're not making money off of that.
And you're pretty much not prolonging things. You're trying to like, hey, if this is not working out, let's get out of it and use that money.
Yeah, it's not like someday it's gonna be like 10x.
unless it's Under Armour athlete recovery sheets, then I'm holding on.
Yeah. Next thing you know, Tom Brady comes out with it, makes it a cape or something like that, right? And throws a touchdown.
Everybody wonders why that man says he's going to play till he's 50. It's those sheets. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be a documentary Brady on 50, and it's gonna be those sheets. Like it's
Yes.
gonna go bonkers.
That's what I'm holding out for.
So you talked about Amazon returns not being that bad,
Not
things
bad,
like
right.
that. Here's a question: does eBay reward you if you offer returns?
You've been in some of the Discord debate that in the last week. No, so I mean, you know what eBay will say? They'll say yes, right? They reward you if you offer returns. It's that voodoo magic and that thing we call an algorithm. I think it's called Cassini for eBay. I think my digital marketing background would tell me that in order to get rank, you need to have good SEO. In order to get good SEO, you got to follow the rules of the search engine you're on. And in this instance, eBay tells us that if you offer returns, it's one box you check on the path to being a top-rated seller. And top-rated sellers rank higher is what they say. But, we've all seen stuff rank higher than us that aren't TRS sellers. So it's not the only reason. But the thing that I think about is that we just live in such a consumer-centric environment anyways. And I think people expect it, right? And there's going to be mad debate on this because some people are like, I never offer returns and my sales are just fine. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You do you. Like I don't, I'm not begrudging it. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you, like, from a consumer psychology standpoint, if you offer returns and if you offer free shipping, those two things generally work in a seller's favor. But in terms of helping you on eBay, they say it does.
What do you think, B?
I think the biggest gain for me for accepting all returns was the 10% discount on fees as a TRS, right? But we all know when I shifted to focusing more on shoes over $100, I didn't have to pay fees. So a lot of my shoes that are actually over 100 are no returns because of what's for me to gain. Only because the fact that yes, we should rely on the better ranking, but it's not really that. The problem to begin with is you got to have better products. So what I found out is if I actually source better products to begin with, I really don't have to think about, hey, I need to rank better or something like that, because if your products are actually more elite than other competition and price, then you don't have to worry about it, right? Or there might be a tanking season. All you gotta do is wait till the undercutters happen, and then now you're asking, 2x, 3x your money. So that's my take. I think as soon as eBay did the no fees on $100 and up, I was like, I'm out, because at one point, right, if you're paying $10,000 on fees every month, that means you're paying $1,000 on you're saving $1,000. I was cool. I wanted to save $1,000, right? Because that was big money for me. That's still big money for me. But as soon as I'm not paying that fee anymore, I was like, I'm out. You guys can, I don't need the discount anymore because there's not much to discount.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I think it's I think the question is always, what money are you leaving on the table, right? And you can't. There's no way you can quantify that. You have no idea how many sales you've lost because you don't offer returns. Now, you can live with that. You can be like, I'm happy with my sales and I know what I'm doing and my sales are growing. The other piece is that it's not the only thing that impacts ranking, search ranking, right? So like your time on the platform, your consistency as a seller, things that eBay's tracking in the background that you don't even know they're tracking in terms of like your ship time, right? Your defect rate, which you do know they're tracking. There's a lot of things about the data points they're collecting and selecting about you as a seller and how that impacts your ranking. Because keep in mind, eBay wants people to come back and buy on their platform again and again. It's the same thing as Google. So if you, Hustlebee, provide an excellent customer experience, then they want you to rank higher. I mean, that's just common sense, right? So the thing is like, how many positive feedbacks do you have right now on your store?
3130.
How about you, Glenn? How many?
3,130.
And what about you, Glenn?
Let me see. I have to bring it up. Before I go though, Vintage Profit. Let me see. Eric D. Who else is in here? Look, we don't have to agree on everything
Yeah,
as
y'all
far as
gotta
what you guys are
chill.
talking about. But you don't have to personalize the attacks to people either. You don't have to agree whatever people do in their business. They do what they want to do. But as far as like calling people out or stuff, it's like there's no need. Like,
Yeah, if you guys want to call people out, y'all post your screenshot on your profits and your financials, and then now you can start calling people out who's making more money. But this one,
if that even matters. I mean,
there's no facts. There's no facts on all the stuff that you guys are talking about.
I'm not here to measure dicks. Like you,
Yeah.
like I'm just here. We're here talking to Mile High Hustle, trying to figure out how to, sell more and do better for the business.
You know what? I'm actually, this is fascinating to me, right? Because I mean, no matter what business you're in, I remember when I was running a bookstore years ago, and it was easy for us to blame Amazon when they came on the scene for our business not doing well, right? And it's easy no matter what industry or vertical you find yourself in. It's always easy to pick a tribe, pick a camp. And what I find is that the bigger the community that I can be a part of, the more different perspectives that I can bring into that community, the better it is for my business. And so I don't ever find somebody with a different, I might disagree passionately, but I'll do it respectfully. And so like, we don't have to agree on OA versus RA. We don't have to agree on Amazon versus eBay. Like, the thing, and I wasn't always this way. Like initially, I remember my big problem was low ballers, right? That's always the big conversation. I hate low ballers. People blah blah. And I'm like, but you can't control that, right?
Yeah.
That's a variable that is outside of your control. So at the end of the day, there will always be somebody who's going to be cheaper than you. What do you control?
Right.
Control that. And that's what you were saying, Ken, earlier about, selling a better product in a better experience is going to make all the difference. So, yeah, guys, let's all get along. Let's be happy.
Now you're saying that on eBay, there's different things to get you, let's say like best match or different factors that come into play. So what can someone do on the Amazon side, like to be buy box or?
Bro, I have no idea.
Hey, there you go. You heard it from him.
but listen. Here's the deal. I mean, Amazon is obviously doesn't give you as many levers you can pull. I mean, I think there are some levers. Amazon has a search engine, and they also have a way of deciding what gets buy box and what doesn't. What I've found is that it doesn't always matter if you are the lowest price or even if you have the buy box, right? Like for instance, those Racer Blue mids, I'm selling those at $215 on Amazon right now, and they're just clicking. And there are people who are selling them at $190, $195, right? And they're like, "Why can't I sell mine?" I don't know. Right. I honestly don't know. So it's the same thing, right? Like we don't know if returns helps you on eBay. We don't know what you can do to get buy box on Amazon. But the fact of the matter is that for me, the proof is in the margin pudding, and the eating is really good. So that's where I'm going to go.
Right.
There we go. Amazon is a mystery. Just buy low, sell high, resell freak.
Amen. Resell freak.
Yeah. And let me see. So we talked about eBay side. I also want to see, what about people say that adding items every day. I want to see what B thinks about this too. Adding items every day increases your sales. Yes or no? I mean, what if you add like 5-10 items a day, or you just list 70 all on the weekend? Does that even matter?
What's your strategy, my high? What do you think? Does that bring any benefit to the table if you schedule
your question assumes that I have a strategy. But here's what I have discovered, and this just comes about over the last few months, right? So Ken, you were really good in the Level Up program about talking about replenishing your inventory, right? Like just taking that whole number of how many listings do I have at this week the beginning of the week? How many do I have at the end of the week? And am I replenishing that to stay the same, or am I increasing that to grow, right? Because the basic principle is that if I don't list it, I can't sell it. If I don't have it, I can't sell it.
Right.
And so what I found is that you can get to a point in terms of your listings, how many listings you have, of kind of dialing in how much revenue that's going to generate for you, right?
Correct. Yes.
Based on an average selling price.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So so from a listings perspective, here's what I've discovered. You guys, anybody who's followed me for any length of time will know this, but for those who are just getting to know me tonight, we've been in a season where we bought a house and we've been in a move, right? And I just forgot how much time that takes. So you do that on top of your day job, which is, my day job is I'm never off the clock. Like I have like work hours, but then I have like I'm texting with authors at 10 o'clock at night. Like it just never stops. So so you have that on top of work, on top of this, and something had to give, right? There was just no way I could do this. So into September, I had bought a bunch of stuff, and I kept buying OA. I kept buying stuff to have delivered to my door, but I did not have time to list it.
Right.
And we all know how, listing is one of those things. I don't know anybody who loves listing. I just maybe Ken, maybe your wife does, because I know you guys have a killer setup. Yeah. So I think there are some people that are just wired that way, but for the vast majority of us, the thrill is in the find, right? It's not in it's not in the list. So so the first thing to go for me was like getting on and listing. And so I was probably at 320 items in my eBay store when I went into October. And it got down to about 250 because I wasn't replenishing.
Right.
And I will tell you, a noticeable drop in a quarter when my sales should have been going up. October was down like 23%. And so I think the only thing I can attribute it to, because my product mix wasn't different, my pricing strategy wasn't different. I was, I even went through and ended my entire catalog and did sell similar, just to try to reduce the algorithm. And try to trick it a little bit. And nothing really helped until the last week and a half. I got on and I just started posting new listings, adding new items, and like I told you, today was just crazy town. And so and that's eBay, speaking specifically about eBay. Amazon, again, I don't really know what excites Amazon. I just know I get excited when an Amazon sale comes through because it's a lot of money.
B, do you think listing every day matters, or what if you just list everything at one day a week or something?
On the growth journey, when I started, it was listing every day because it was, sell this, buy this, right? My capital was so tight that it was listing every day. If whatever I sold, I got the money from PayPal and then invested in another product the next day. I think the only thing is I would agree with what Price Assassin said here. Increases your traffic. Obviously the more items you have out there increases the traffic, and I don't know about the variation of your listings that whatever is posting. One of the things that I noticed though, which is now that I'm buying a lot off season, right? So I buy a lot of winter stuff during the summertime. I actually force myself not to list those until it's close to the season. Only because I feel like if you're listing it during summertime or winter gear, it's gonna have us really slow traffic, and again, overall, it gets indexed as a bad item because it's not getting any hits or page views. And that's why I would recommend to everybody to go into their traffic per listing, and it will tell you there, right?
Oh wow!
And we've gone through that in our level up, that there might be a listing that just got bad index. Like it could be literally a size large of a different item that has had a higher traffic, and it's just bad. So when I see those that are questionable, like, wait, it's a, it's the price is at market, and then it's not getting any traffics or hits or watchers, I would count that as a glitch or a bad listing, and I would literally just do over that. So that's
Mhm.
one of the things. There's our maintenance things that we do, and I would go to the bottom of my lowest traffic items and to see like what's wrong with this, and I evaluate it based on a buyer's perspective. Now, when I list all out of my winter gears during summer, that was the lowest. So I knew that. I was like, okay, that was bad timing. So I just literally took it down and sat on it until September. So I think those are one of the things. But but when you were batch listing, we batch list now just because we just go through it faster, and
It's more
it's
efficient.
a lot, yeah, more efficient, because like my wife would do like 20 to 50 per night or something like that, and then the taking of photos is just faster. I haven't really seen a drop. Now maybe because I already have like pending listings right now, like I have 1,000 listings. So, maybe that traffic of whatever that's already indexed is helping it. So, one of the things that I notice is I think once you cross the 100,000 mark, I think you won't have that activity issue if you don't list every day.
Yeah.
And it seems like with other people that we've talked to, once you hit a certain amount or maybe number of listings, I don't think it's gonna be, you're when you talk about averaging, right, Mike, it's not gonna be much. It's not gonna be a big difference of
Yeah.
$100 and $5, but it's more of like 180, 90, 70. So it's gonna be like closer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it just the key is just consistency,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's
That.
every day or every week,
Yeah.
I think it's just consistency, and it gets back to that you can't manage it if you don't measure it. Like even just paying attention to your inventory levels will force you
Yeah.
to be better at what you do. Here's an interesting one that I've had on my mind, Glenn, as I've been thinking about, and I actually had this question back in Level Up, and maybe it just comes from my retail days, but it's this idea of building up repeat business, right? Because there's the old adage of it's easier to keep a customer than to gain a new one.
Right.
And so I don't know. I just noticed this for the first time. eBay has added in the sales performance report this buyer insights section,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and there's a repeat buyers piece in
What's
there.
their percentage there?
It's my percentage is 1.5%. And I have no idea what a good benchmark would be. That's for the year. But the thing is that that's 1.5% without me doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And early on, I had asked the question in Level Up. I don't know if you remember. I'd said, "Hey, have any of you?" And I've since learned I don't think this is a thing, but I was still kind of
Right.
trying to figure out what did eBay afford like a white labeling service where you could build out an e-commerce store that was the back end was eBay, right? Because in my mind, I wanted to figure out how I could capture and communicate with customers because I know people can follow me, but I don't really know what I can do with that, right? And so for me now, there's what I'm seeing is eBay starting to slowly roll out a toolbox for sellers around like coupons, right?
Yeah.
Winning promotions. And so I think the more we can start to leverage our current customers, if you're really good and someone's bought from you before and they're like, hey, I had a great experience with that person, there's no reason why they won't buy from you again. And so if you could take somebody who spends $100 with you in a year and now they spend $200 with you in a year, to me, that's much better than trying to get that first $100. So I that's going to be a metric that I'm looking at.
Yeah, that you brought up a good point. I totally remember we talked about that, because collecting those emails, right? Because we have access to those. But just to give you a perspective, mine is at 2.5% on my repeat buyers.
Cool.
So and it's always been that low because PayPal had that data before, and it's always been sub 3 as far as I could remember. But I
But have
think
you
that
done anything to try to grow that?
no, not at all.
Right.
It's just really that messaging buyer, just having a good rapport. But I think you bring up a good point now that the coupon feature is up, sending coupon to like followers or I don't know how it works. I haven't really dug deep to it, but I think you said it best. If they had a good experience with you, they will remember your store. I think that's all I can remember because if you look at your feedbacks, a lot of my recent feedbacks is like came in faster than I thought. That's because we're shipping twice a day. I'm not even waiting for 24 hours before their stuff get out. And so I think especially post Christmas or post holidays, if they've had a good experience with you and then you come up with some promotions or something like that that it hits them again, I think it could have a very high chance of driving sales up.
I'm gonna say Patrick, $5. Great content for both online and retail. I eat good for both. $5 on the super chat, and then $20. Armand, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Enjoy the live shows. If I miss it, I still watch it later. So appreciate that. $20 on the super chat, Armand. And everybody else saying kind of the same things as far as like maybe every day or things to increase your traffic. Any other questions? I still have questions to go through, but any other questions you have, put them in now so I can kind of separate them. I've been doing that, as soon as, we're kind of answering them.
Glenn was checked out. I think Glenn read the comments. He's never checked out, man.
I'm trying to get all the questions organized, ready to go. And especially with these guys dropping knowledge, I don't want to just interrupt and be like, oh yeah, here's this question. So anything else, throw it in now. I can separate them. I've been doing that so we can get that there. Let me go back.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, do you guys? I know that B's always driving to Chicago to hit up the honey hole. But like, what is? Do you guys ever shop? Do you guys ever do OA?
I haven't driven to different places anymore.
Oh, really? You just staying
this
local?
Year, I actually driven a lot less miles this year.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But do you shop online at all? Either one of you guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told everybody I shop on Twitter.
You shop Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Twitter because like I follow people on Twitter that have links.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Yeah. So which is kind of like the old way. A lot of people like ask me what my Discord.
Oh, I've got a list. I've built a list on Twitter too. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much so like people say like, where do you get your links? I just tell them like, follow me on Twitter, Ken the Hustle Bee, and if you're interested, follow every people that I follow and just put notifications, right?
Nice.
So that's what I do. But I get sometimes I get gun shy or sometimes I get trigger happy. It's just that like it's like, oh crap, I just spent $5,000 on something I'm not sure about, and I'm like, oh, right, and then there could be one thing that's like, man, how did I only spend $500 on that thing? I could have went all in, right? It's that instant factor. But me and Glenn has talked about a lot. Most of our buys. I mean, he can give you more insights about that. Is really we came up with owning your own city, and I came up with that phrase that if they don't know you by name when you walk in there, you're not trying hard enough.
Man, I'm not trying hard enough then. I don't know what that, like, I do make friendships with people, not friendships, like, connections, like they know me. Yeah. I don't know if I'm more introverted than I think I am, but like, I don't know if they know me by name. Although now I think because of my Instagram, like I do have people kind of call me out of because people who are into sneakers sometimes locally, I don't know, but can I share something I learned from you, Ken? And that is, using the location feature on eBay to scout out your competition. Can you tell people how you do
that? Hey, just so you know,
that's a hustler hack.
Just so you guys know, me and Glenn have like weekly one-on-one shows on literally just going over people's store. So since it's the year ends, we literally know a lot. Any big sellers way beyond us or upcoming sellers, we have tabs on them.
Interesting.
So and because it's not because it's like we're trying to beat them, it's actually because we're trying to learn what other products they're selling.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, so, and you can, it's like for me, Instagram has become that space where, and the Discord.
Instagram before was cool, and then now it's like there's no fine.
Oh man, like here's the difference, right? So like on Instagram, everybody's tagging like Ross finds and Burlington finds, and it's same thing with Twitter, right? Like Twitter is great, but it's stream of consciousness. Like it's here and there's no curation. And so to get back to that idea of efficiency and saving time, I need it to be curated. So like in the Heat Seekers Discord, where I'm a member, you have links that are curated by seller. You have like bolos, be on the lookout for, by store. So I can just go in and say, what did everybody find at Ross today? And then that helps me know like what people are finding. And if it's in your city, then it's probably in my city too. And if there's something that,
or if it's in your city, I'm there the next day.
Well, I'm not a high roller like you. Go jump on a plane and go there, you know?
So yeah, it's definitely, you just paying attention, like what maybe certain items are in your area, what kind of sources are out there that may not even be from stores, or maybe they are online. Going back to the online part, I know B's usually a lot quicker than I am. B's like, dude, look at this, look at this,
Wake
look
up
at that.
Hey, wake up!
It's already sold out. How many did you get? Oh, I got 10 of them. I got 20 of them, and I'm like, man, like.
The B is your Discord. Like he's that guy for you. He's
personal.
I'm gonna provide you have like concierge level service.
Yeah, that might be a good service for 2022. Alarm clock wake up on any early release access or something like that. Because my wife has her own circles of girls that resells too, and they're always like calling each other. And the next thing you know, access.
The other benefit that you have, though, Ken, is that you're in the Eastern time zone. So, like for us guys who are Central, Mountain, West, like man, it's hard because some of these things are dropping at stupid times of the morning.
Right. 8 a.m. my time. It's kind of good. You guys are getting older. You guys are waking up earlier every year, though, right?
No, that's funny. Hey, man, there's one thing that none of us gets to skip out on, and that's getting old, unless something happens. So
no,
it's heading your way too, brother. It's heading your way too.
No, for real. Hey, that's why that's where me and my dad butt heads, because when I was still in high school, he would be like so early to wake up, and I was so late to wake up, and I was like, and I haven't hit that zone yet for me to start waking up early, but Glenn does wake up early because he goes to sleep early.
I gotta be honest, guys. Like the switch for me, this is off topic, right? Sorry, Glenn, but the when I worked retail, because the store would be open till 8, I might work shifts where I go in at 10, right? So like 10 to 8. Or I live like 5 minutes from the store, and so I'd like sleep in until like 15 minutes. The store would open at 9. And then when I got into publishing and I got around these guys that were up at 5 and they're like going to the gym, and like, what, this is a whole different, I didn't know people were actually awake at this time. And they're planning out their days and stuff. Like it was just a different world to be in a professional environment where like people are having business breakfast at 7 a.m.
Hey,
so yeah,
it's funny. I tried that. And when I was with Orange Theory and stuff like that, I was there at 5 a.m. And then everybody takes a shower and walks out in their suit. And I'm like, after a 1 hour workout, I'm like, I'm ready to go to bed. Everyone's starting their day, and I'm about crashing.
There's different worlds out there, man. Just different,
100%, yeah.
Power naps.
Yeah,
that's what Patrick said. Power naps.
Yeah, power naps. When Glenn could get a hold of me, or Price Assassin, when they're calling me, they know. They just call me one time, and if I don't, they'll just call me 30 minutes later, and I'm up.
Yeah, power nap for sure. Let me see. Good question also from Danny. He says, what is your balance between life and reselling?
There's such thing.
And what, family. Also, you're also part-time, so.
Yeah. That's a great question. I'm gonna give the Gary V answer, right? Like I don't know. Listen, all of life is integrated, right? Like I think we get caught in this mindset of like work life and personal life. Like it's all life, right? And so it's just a matter of priorities. And I don't always get it right. There are days when I neglect my family to do reselling, but what I found is that it helps when you have a supportive family. And a lot of times it'll be like my wife will just ride along in the car with me. She's not into the business. I know you guys both have supportive, wives that are actually invested in helping you guys out. But my wife doesn't, but she'll still go sourcing and hang out with me in the car. And that'll be time we spend together when we do that kind of stuff. Or where she is helpful is I'll bounce, a customer issue off of her. I'll be like, man, I had this crazy customer, and she'll be like, oh, well, and like she'll talk me down off the ledge, because you just want to, strangle some people.
Cool off.
Yeah. So, but in terms of like this idea of balance, I mean, it just every season's different, every day is different, and I will say this, like anything that becomes excessive can become unhealthy, and so I think for me, that's where I had to realize, like, I can't do it all because it's going to eventually wear away at my health. Right. And so I gotta moderate, and it gets back to that time thing again. Like I gotta figure out a way to be more efficient.
Yeah. Quick thing. Do you so for me, right? Like 100% agree with your answer. Now, how do you distinguish certain things where to throttle back or to push more? My question is, do you have like a happiness measurement kind of thing, emotional happiness measurement or satisfaction measurement that you measure daily or weekly or something like that? Because I'm interested to hear what would that be. So because you said, right, it's gonna be unhealthy. Like, do you wait till for you to feel bad before you throttle back, or is there like a point where you actually see that?
Yeah.
I mean, speaking
no,
from
honestly, I like more often than not, it's I'll find myself falling into like, for me, when I start wasting time doing completely stupid stuff, like watching, YouTube videos, not hustler hacks, for hours.
Of course not.
Of course
Right?
not.
I would never think of that.
But for I just find yourself getting. What I'm finding is that in those moments, a lot of times I'm just trying to escape something, right? I don't want to deal. So for me, it's all about intentionality. Here's the crazy thing. So I'll give you guys a little homework. You can go check this out. So I just ran across this organization called Wild Leaders. Wild Leaders. I think it's wildleaders.com. And these the WILD is an acronym for Whole Intentional Leader Development. And so the idea. So the idea here is that your life is integrative, and they actually do have tools that help you measure how you operate under pressure, under stress, because the thing is that every day life is throwing something new your way that's creating pressure in your life. Yeah. It doesn't matter how small or insignificant you might think it is, it's causing you to react, right? Like for instance, today I was telling you guys we had a windstorm here in Colorado Springs, 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And so I'm at work, and my wife is calling me saying, the house feels like it's going to blow over. Just knowing when you're separated from your spouse and they're alone and feeling afraid creates pressure for you, because now you have to make a decision. Do I have to bail on this meeting, or I have to do this thing to go do this other thing? Like, every situation is creating pressure. The question comes back to, have you prepared for moments of pressure so you can respond appropriately? And in my life, what I've discovered is a lot of times I haven't prepared, and it puts me in a bad position. So for instance, like the chat, we were making fun of people, not making fun of them, but calling people out for calling people out. A lot of times, like, chat rooms are the worst because people are not at their best selves when they're chatting. Sorry, everybody in the chat. But the fact is that the internet, it creates this environment of safety where we're keyboard warriors and we can say whatever we want to say to people and without consequence. But it's like, let's be thoughtful. So it comes back to being intentional. So I don't know, Danny, if that helps you or whatever, but like for me, it's the thing I need to work on is just being more intentional.
I like that.
Yeah. If I saw Big Money Mo, I would not talk trash to his face.
No.
He would just crush me bare hands.
Yeah,
clearly just lifts weights and
but yeah, I like the word intentional. It is something that me and my wife talk about. Mean what you say and say what you mean. So that's our rule. There's no like trying to sugarcoat or trying to you kind of like subtle words. Make it bold and say I hate you. Like, if at that moment, if you really hate me, tell me so that I will know how to console you and how to make things right. Because if you're not saying anything, or if you're making subtle jabs at me, I might fight back. And then I did, at that moment, I don't know like how mad you were at me already. But I love that word, because I think that's when you don't waste time, when you're
Yeah.
when you're intentional at
And
things.
I'm not saying I'm there. I'm not there. Like, but that's what I want to be. Yeah.
That's good. I think, I don't think none of us will ever get there, right? But it's the journey of getting there. That's why
100%.
there's people like Tom Brady.
100%.
Man,
He's
it
there.
sucks being
I mean,
an
it's there.
adult, huh?
He's achieved everything. He's maxed out all human goals. That guy has.
Let me go back to man, we got some random questions. We're kind of going off topic here and there and this and that, but eBay, you said you tried a little bit of dipping into charging shipping.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like it didn't help at all.
I don't think it helped.
Why? And why is that?
It's just a hunt. I don't know. I just, I thought I watched a video from some other YouTuber not selling shoes, so that could have been a mistake. They were
these YouTubers, they say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know. I believe everything I see, so everything I hear. No, I mean, it's one of those things that I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this TerraPeak tool that eBay provides me as a part of my subscription, and I'm going to look and see what percentage of other sellers are selling this style code and offering free shipping. And if it's over 50%, then I'm going to offer free shipping. If it's under 50%, then I'm not going to offer free shipping, because less than half of the other people are. That logic may not make sense. Maybe I should have flipped the script. I don't know. But the point is that it's a number of factors, but adding shipping and then also not listing were two things that I could point to say those were changes that affected my sales in a negative way. That when I was offering free shipping consistently and when I was listing consistently, my sales were increasing. And so for the first time, I experienced sales decrease, and I'm like, what does that relate to? And those are the two biggest things that I think I could point to, because my TRS status wasn't in jeopardy. And by the way, on returns, I do 30-day buyer pays. So I still feel like there's a bit of a barrier there, because you have to want to pay the return shipping. So for me, like, I'm still maintaining super high, 100% positive feedback, like all the things you need to be doing. It's just those two business decisions I made were things I could point to, and my sales were down. So
yeah, there's a lot of aspects that I guess, it's trial and error. You can kind of figure things out, but there's some things we just don't know, and you have to, I guess, keep pushing and see what kind of results.
Identical stores, right? Because if you test it within your stores, your store could rank different.
True.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me go back on here. Any other questions? Throw it in there. Someone asked about rental properties.
What? Do you have a rental property?
I do now.
So there you go. House?
Yes. So we were in that house for 10 years. We're calling to call it a rental property at this point is aspirational, because no one's rented it. But but no, it's on the market.
Cool.
It's just a bad time of the year to be. Nobody's moving at Christmas time. So
that's 100%.
So we're sort of we sort of picked a bad time of year to do it. But for me, it was a long-term investment.
Yeah, it's a good time for you to celebrate holidays in your new house, though.
Facts.
Yeah.
So they said it's probably too soon, but do you think you will keep purchasing and investing in properties?
I'd love to. I've got a friend that has 6 houses. And so, we contemplated this for a while. I've shared this before in my lives, but at 50 years old, I've only been investing in my 401k for 10 years. I started when I was 40. And, when you have a 401k, like ours is with Fidelity, I use this tool called Bloom with 3 O's, and it like optimizes your portfolio. They do a fabulous job. It's like $15 a month. It's a steal. And so you go in and you kind of say, here's where I want to be at this age. And like, I'd have to, at this point, almost put my whole paycheck in there, to get to the goal that I needed to, based on my portfolio, my appetite for risk, et cetera. And so I was like, man, I got to figure out something else. It's not that I want to retire at 65, but you just never know. And I also have just walked through a season, or I'm still walking through a season with elderly parents. And I know what it's like to have to support an elderly parent, both financially and to help them in life. And it's not that I think my kids wouldn't step up. I just don't want to be that to them. And so for me, it was like, I need to really start doing something that can effectuate my future in those retirement years, when I may not be able to have a career full-time or work full-time. And so I reached out to this friend of mine. He's like, dude, there's nothing better to own than hard assets, period. Right. End of story. And so, and I know all the crypto people in the chat want to go crazy right now. But
hard assets.
yeah. But he's like, and he was like, here's some things that he told me. He's like, honestly, though, you're buying at the wrong time, because we were looking at buying a house, and then wanting to rent our other house out. And he's like, you don't buy when the market's high, you buy when it's low. The problem is that I happen to be in one of the top 10 real estate marketplaces in the country. And it's not like, I went through the 2008-09, we had a foreclosure. Like I've been on the other side of that when my house lost 70% of its value in a month. I've been there, and people rushed in and gobbled up those houses. I didn't have any money. I was the guy who had a mortgage that there was no way I could sell my house and not lose a ton of money. Right. And be in financial ruin for years. So we were just like, okay, it's either now, if we're going to do it here, it's either now or never. Right. Rates were super low. We had some cash stored up, and we were like, we can pull the trigger on this. And honestly, like, reselling has helped to smooth, like, there's just been a lot of money going out. So it's been a nice buffer to create some additional cash flow. And it was, in a sense, passive, because I had already done all that work to get all my money all the work put into my eBay store. Even though sales were down, it was still, people were buying stuff. All I had to do was ship it. Right. So, so we did that. And this friend of mine, he's at a stage in life where, and I don't know if I'll ever be there, but where he doesn't have to work. He not for money. He does what he wants to do, when he wants to do, for whomever he wants to do. He's like you, Glenn. He's a graphic artist, and that's what he does. And he works on branding with companies and nonprofits. But like, you never look at this guy and know he has a lot of money, but he's invested smartly. And when he told me he had 6 homes, I'm like, that's goals right there. Like, I would love to own a few properties. I'd love to do that.
Nice. Well, I think that's a good little segue into next year. And what are some of your goals as far as reselling, as far as not necessarily money wise, but maybe with it also being kind of dry, of course, at the stores too? Yeah. How does that also impact maybe on your route or the way you're going to be sourcing? Probably, even more OA going into next year. And also, where do you think we're headed as far as your perspective, Nike and sourcing and things like that?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't thought a whole lot yet about, my goals. Obviously, I think I was thinking about this question because I thought you might ask about goals. I know how you guys are wired. And I thought, what if they asked me what my goals are, what would I say? I kind of like the level I'm at. I know that's probably not a good answer, because I know it's always about growth, right? We always want to grow. But I kind of like the level I'm at, because I'm kind of figuring out, like, I can manage it at this level, and I can do it on nights and weekends, and still have dinner with my family, right? Like, those are the things that are kind of important. So trying to figure that out. Now, I'm not against growth. So if I can figure out ways to stack deep on certain SKUs and have Amazon sell those, and it doesn't require more time, I'm down with that. But in terms of where the level I'm at, I just had a call with my CPA this week because now I'm getting to that point where it's like, hey, what do I need to be thinking about in terms of like LLC? I'm still a sole proprietorship. Do I need to do LLC? How can I be better about managing my business? And she asked, she goes, who's your bookkeeper? And I was like, me. And she laughed. I thought, okay, so I gotta figure out. Yeah, not do I need a bookkeeper, but even then she asked me, hey, how much profit are you going to make this year? And I didn't have an answer for her right away. And I thought, okay, those are telltale signs that I need to be better about managing my business in 22. So that would be goals. And in terms of like the second part of your question, like what do I foresee? I don't know. I mean, you know better than I do, but I think, from what I can see, I think some things are gonna normalize and go back in some ways, not to the way they were, but feel a little bit more like the way they were on the discount front. And yet some things have forever changed, right? So like we talked about inflation and pricing, like you think Nike's ever going to lower their prices? Nope, not going to happen.
Yeah.
So in some ways, resale pricing is going to go up too. It's going to have to. It's going to have to follow that trend. I think the level of competition and reselling. I got in 2018, and I don't know, Glenn, if this rings true for you in your experience, because I assume you come into contact with a lot of different resellers. But there's a turnover ratio, right? Like you see a lot of people get in for 3 months and then they're out, or 6 months and then they're out. I feel like there's a much higher retention rate of people reselling for good now, or at least a supplemental level, which means more competition long term. Additional marketplaces have come on the scene. People are getting savvy, selling on Stadium Goods, selling on Goat, selling on Posh, selling on Facebook Marketplace. Like all these marketplaces have opened up, and people are starting to see that they can make money flipping. So, and YouTube has only, served to train everybody how to do it. So I think competition means that, you just have to be smarter. And then in terms of like, will like Ross and Burlington and all those guys figure it out? I got to think they will. I mean, there are MBAs running those companies. They know what they're doing. And the fact of the matter is, it was funny. You guys were talking about the colorways of shoes earlier. And you were talking about the color palette for 22.
Yeah.
What's so funny is, what we don't realize is that there's actually a council of people who determine the colors that will be popular next year.
That is true. Yeah.
Not
even in fashion, everything. You're right. You're right.
And so these are people at the major companies. And so that's not an accident. That might have been decided 2 years ago. And what you'll see is that other trend, you'll see other lines and clothing lines that follow suit.
Yeah.
Right. So, and so the thing that, the thing is my point there is that fashion is cyclical, right? And shoes are cyclical, and they can't ever fully dial in how popular something will or won't be for the consumer. You can only make educated guesses. And so at some point you either cut yourself too short and leave money on the table, or you build in secondary marketplaces where you can oversell into the market knowing that they'll pick it up and you'll still get your money back and make something, right? Because, that pair of Jordan 1s probably, what do you guys think that cost Nike to actually manufacture? I'm not talking about the marketing costs and
it was $27 the last time I checked.
$27 for a pair of shoes.
Jordan 1. Yeah, Jordan
Makes
1.
sense.
Yeah.
For a Jordan 1.
And we're paying 170, 180 now, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they've built that margin in so that they can support selling at discounted rates as well. It's all baked into their cost structure. Yeah. So so they're going to always over manufacture so they can get the most at retail and sell through the secondary marketplaces.
Yeah, and still make money. Yeah.
100%. So what we're experiencing right now truly is related to all the supply chain issues. Now I think that these supply chain issues will make companies smarter. So we might not see as much, but we'll see more. I have no doubt we'll see more. They might be choosier about where. And I do think NFTs, I'm not even kidding you, I do think they're going to play a role in reselling at some point, at least for Nike.
Going back to the chat, Zapato said add a special box that adds $100 to the to
Right.
the shoe. Let me go back up and to answer your question, I guess about resellers getting into the game and how long and
Yeah.
will they last or how are there more competition, things like that. I do agree. Number one with Big Cheese, what he says here about a drop off when people realize that they have to report over $600 in sales next year. I've already seen. I know for us it's not a big deal because we've been doing it for a long time, but from the emails and also seeing from other groups, there's a lot of people that were just automatically scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? I have to report this? What does that mean? What do I have to do? I don't even want to try anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these people were kind of like the people that are thinking about, hey, I have extra things to sell. Like instead of a garage sale, I want to post it online. I want to make a couple extra bucks on Mercari, things like that. They were just already turned off. So that's one part of it. Another part, I think, where we've definitely seen a lot more of like the hype sellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a store or a consignment store or a store where, hey, it could do trades, buy, sell, trade, or posting up at complex or not complex. I was gonna say complex con, but sneaker cons and things like that. You know, a lot of people that are getting into the hype stuff, and I don't think you necessarily have to have a business background, but you do have to know what you're doing when things aren't working out. And I feel like a lot of people haven't necessarily seen that yet because people are still buying. They're still paying, to, $300, $400, $500. And I think there is going to be a day, of course, that they're not going to be buying those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Will they be buying a lot more of like everyday Air Max? I think they're already doing that now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's been a nice mix of both, but when those hype stuff aren't selling, what's going to happen then? We don't know yet, but I do think it could get to that point. More resellers. I've seen the drop off, of course, after Ross and Burlington not having that supply. We've seen those sellers leave. I think we've seen a lot more people at thrifts for sure.
Right.
Like thrifts and bins, those type of sellers. There's a lot more getting into that. So I know those competitions are high. And I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see what happens next year, but we're kind of like in a weird transition stage, and let's see what happens there. I want to see what the chat says too.
Yeah. I feel like if you can weather this storm, the last three, I mean, because 2019 was the ultimate high. I mean, I feel like everybody had found a source. Whether I would say it was the easiest year to build up a store, and then 2020 came, right? So it was kind of like you got the shutdown, and then you had to improvise a little bit, and then I think the people that have pivoted or improvised in 20 and 21, if you could weather this until like the next 2019 moment, I think you're set for a long time. But if you can't, this is the moment where there's a lot of jobs open, right? And then people are willing to pay more. Now, all of a sudden, having that higher hourly rate and job security could look better than scraping by reselling. Maybe that could bring in more part-time transition, right, from full-time to part-time.
Yeah. Well, I think that to Glenn, to your point, there will always be people who think that they won't be the one who gets caught, right? So there's always going to be people who are like, I'm not gonna. I haven't. I mean, there's people who don't pay taxes, period.
Yeah.
Like they do work under the table, right? Not even talking about reselling.
Right.
So there's always going to be people, but I agree with you that that folks that start to get into this community, and then they start to hear people like you talk about paying taxes, and they're like, oh, is that a thing? Like, do I have to do that? And then then they're sort of faced with like this moment of conscience, like, man, can I get away with it or not? And there's some people who say, well, I'm just going to take my chances, right? Because it won't catch up to me. And then there's other people who say, well, I'm out. Peace. I'm not doing this. But here's the thing I see, and this is what I think maybe what you're getting at is it separates the real resellers. It's just the industrious nature of
Yeah.
this group of people. It takes a certain kind of person.
Mhm.
And I know, in my mind, Ken, to your point, sorry, I should use your Hustle Bee brand. Bee, to your point,
Call me Ken.
you work hard to build that brand. No, to your point, I think the people that will survive this, those are the resellers you want to surround yourself with, because they
Mhm.
figured out a way, no matter what, to survive. Like,
Right.
I don't know, Glenn, if you still have a Stevie D soundbite on your thing, but like,
Oh yeah.
that man, I kid you not, like, this is a guy that went full time. He has a family, and to make that leap, like, that takes some, what I'm talking about. Like, that's
Right.
that in and of itself. But he hasn't been content to stay in one vertical. He's doing whatever it takes to succeed, and that's just one story. There are a lot of different stories. So my hat is off to anybody who has the moxie and the drive to figure it out. And if you can do it in this season right now,
Right. Mhm.
bro, you're going to be so successful long term. It's not even funny. You just got to stick it out and learn and turn your learning into success.
Right. I agree.
There we go. Straight for the man himself. Any other questions before we go? I know it's like 2-hour long show.
Sorry,
it's our
guys.
last one of the year. I think great info. And everything that we've talked about so far. Anything else before? B didn't even ask any questions.
No, I mean, you brought out a lot of good questions, and we already know Maya High. He's a deep guy, so
Yeah.
we understand each other's talks and stuff like that. So I
There you
like
go.
it. And he's very metrics driven person. I mean, we knew that once we got into Level Up, and let me see.
Pastor Mile High, says Kevin. Amazing show, Mr. Eric. Appreciate that. Happy New Year 2022, Patrick.
Bro, 22. I mean, like, you know what? Like, okay, let me bring this up. Like, my high brought something up. He say, like, he likes the kind of like the size where he's at as far as the operation. And this thought stuck to me during that time. We just got diverted, but I think, like, like, sometimes, like, I sit back and say, like, man, like, this is good living right here, even with the current operations that we have. And if I am just savvy enough to make it more efficient, it could be considered as part-time. Now I can do something else, right? Like, hey, maybe I can be a YouTuber, or maybe I can be a Twitch
We're
streamer,
waiting, B. We're waiting for you, brother.
Waiting for that car channel.
Like, and dude, I'm telling you, like, I feel like that's 2022 for me. It's like, it's either I go dig deeper and just take this to a whole nother notch, and and then just stay there. I mean, I love what I'm doing, but what's stopping me from, like, hey, I've conquered something here, and let me try to conquer something else. So I feel like that's something that we all have to ask ourselves eventually, because I mean, doing something for a long time is especially having a business, is lonely, and sometimes could be mundane, if you think about it. That's why I try to mix it up so much, fly here, fly there, just to break it up and stuff like that. But I think that would be a
I know we're at the end, Glenn, but you asked me, but I think people want to know, like, I want to know, like, what are your goals for next year?
Oh yeah, we gotta hear this. This guy's
You've been getting Ken and I pumped up, but we want to know from the man himself, the OG.
This guy's pretty savage. Watch it. You'll be surprised what he says. Let's hear it.
Here's the thing for the goals is, like, I usually during this time after the holidays end, I get into, that's why you're not going to see me for a good, I take a little break.
Yep.
I start getting all these different ideas. I start, like, writing down ideas, and where can I go, not only from the business side, but the channel side. The channel side is such a different beast.
Yep. Yeah.
On, like, where do you go? And especially right now with the fines being so dry, it's like, where do you take, people love to see good stuff. I want to see good fines. And when they're not there, it's like, how do you keep that going? But at the same time, I feel like community side, like, I want to do Out Hustle to meet people again and to get out there again. I don't know what's possible or not to do that, but at the same time, I've done really good on like really meeting good supply chain here that I don't necessarily have to go anywhere, which the pandemic brought that, which is a really, really good side of it, that I was happy to do that. But to answer your question, goals wise, the business part, I really want to keep that. Now that I have a different income or a different supply chain, I can definitely go deeper into that with the wife helping. But personal goal, we've been talking about having a child, so that would be one of the goals for
Dude, that's awesome, man.
For
That's
2022.
Little hack.
Did we hear it here first?
And
Did we hear it first?
Is this a
I can't say I'll
personal-
try, but I'll try to try.
Put it out there. Dude,
Yeah,
that would
right now
be
I'm having
awesome.
fun. I'm having fun practicing right now. How about that?
Yeah, I'm sure. That's the fun part.
Yeah,
Having
totally.
the kids. Hey, the having the kids part is fun too. I'll tell you. It's,
Is it really?
It's not all fun, but I'll tell
We'll
you.
ask after. We'll ask after the baby's born again.
Yeah.
Well, listen, initially you'll be like, what just happened to my life? Everything gets turned. But I'm just telling you, man, there's no greater joy. So that's awesome. I hope the best for you and the missus, and that that works out for you guys, because that's really cool. I'll just tell you one thing I've noticed about both of you guys is your ability to pivot and to try new things. I think is an example to all of us. And I, it was funny. I'm going to fanboy for just a second. I mean, you guys, I don't know that you really fully understand the impact that you guys have had on a lot of people in this community. And I know for you, Glenn, YouTube provides a little bit of an income or whatever, but I don't think that's the reason you do it. And,
No.
and I think that, I just, speaking on behalf of the community, thank you guys for giving the time. I know, like B right now, it's what, 11 after 11 o'clock your time. And, for you guys to do this, and I know a lot of effort goes into it. So just want to say thanks, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for you, Glenn, in particular. So thank you guys.
Well, thanks for coming on too, and thanks for subscribing and following and contacting and joining Level Up and everything else. And we enjoy meeting everybody, and in person or in the chat or the DMs, and that's what brings that community a lot closer. And I like the Wednesday live shows. We get to kind of keep up with news and things like that, even though the fines are dry, but a lot of things are changing, and we're all kind of in this together to figure out. And we can eat, right? We can all make money. We don't all have to be out here and attacking. We can all make money. Man, and we're all doing things different ways. So
much to go around. And I think that's it. Like, whatever you're good at, go all in, and we're cheering each other on. And it's the same way between me and Glenn. We work so closely together, but our stuff is so different from each other.
The bromance is real, man. We all know it. We all
yeah. It's so but it is, I mean, yeah. Thank you for everybody. I think this is the best, kind of like, I would say, feels to end this year, because right, we survived 2020. Not just survive, we thrive in 2020 and still continue to thrive in 2021, which is, I think, is amazing. And like I speak to a lot of people, and there's like, man, like, how's your business? And I think overall in our industry, it's like, it didn't feel like a struggle really if you had the inventory, right? So which is, I think it's a kind of like a kudos to all of us that are here in the reselling world. Our struggle is to not get inventory, but always make a profit on any inventory that we get. But I think, I'm truly, truly grateful for the Hustler Hacks YouTube channel and the platform, that this YouTube channel has provided for, and really be able to talk to other people in this industry. But yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a good year, and all this time, all Glenn's preparation for all this show, I just walk in I just took my chance. I
We know,
dropped it.
we know, we
We
know.
know.
Yeah, just guns blazing, ready to fire. And but he does a lot of this stuff in the back end. But yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait for another year.
And definitely for next year, I do want to talk to more people and see, there's always something to learn. I don't feel like I know everything. I never have, never will, because there's always something out there. Part-timers, full-timers, different platforms. So it's definitely something, for next year I want to do as well. Broadway Beat, Brent, thanks for that.
Brent,
$10, the
well,
super
Brent.
chat. Double up in sales. Thanks for the knowledge this year. 2022 will have its challenges, but I feel better and prepared for the wave. Very nice. So Brent, thanks for that. Mr. Eric's been here.
No, he's making fun of me. Walks in late.
Oh,
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're trying to drink. You could do a little cheers, but I only have water. So,
Yeah.
but
What-
thanks everybody that's
I
here.
did have- this is probably why I went so long right here.
Oh, see, there you go.
Hey, that's all we needed, right?
Thanks everybody watching, and yeah, we'll see you next year. Get everything situated. We'll be ready to go. Brand new topics too, and I have a lot of work to do on my end, not only for the business side, but the channel wise. So no, I'm not disappearing or anything.
We know
but
what kind of work
we
you
got a
have
lot
to
of
do.
work. That's a different side.
Yeah, we know what kind of work Lynn's going to be doing.
Yeah, that's a different side, baby. All right, we'll see you guys. Go on and get it.